Hi everybody, and a big welcome to cEDH TV gameplay. This time we're joined by Keith.
Hey everyone.
Today I'm once again back with Tymna and Dargo. It's a Mardu turbo shell with a couple of Dargo layered wing cons.
I'll be playing a weird Mizzixs deck that I built some time ago and updated maybe 10 minutes before this. It's a really fun deck. I aim to make infinite mana and then fireball the entire table for game.
Yeah, today I'll be playing TNT Turbo Druid, so the plan is to get Hermit Druid out as quickly as possible, put my deck in my library, or my library into my graveyard, and then use Direct Return to win the game.
Me, I'm playing Jordan's commander Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow. This is basically a ninja tribal deck, or changeling tribal might be a fitting word too, but we're looking to draw and burn with Yuriko and draw into either Doomsday, Fastest Consult, or things of the sort. Now let's look at some opening hands. We could actually keep this. So we have Seagate, Restoration, and Chromox, and with that we have our turn 1 Mausoleum Wanderer, and followed up with a Yuriko. We have some good cards here too. For example, the Demonic Consultation, I like that. And then we have a Ninja afterwards as well. If we draw into a second land on turn 1 or turn 2, we're putting on turn 3 the second ninja into play and getting 2 Yuriko triggers. We're lacking counter spells here though. That's something we usually kind of could draw into. There's a bunch of cards here that aren't great. You shouldn't probably just snap keep whatever you find because it's just okay. Most hands with Yuriko are just always gonna be pretty good. So you're always gonna have an opening hand that looks more or less like this. So you could honestly mulligan for more value. A second land here would feel good. And a few of these cards, I don't really want this creature or the time warp in my hand currently. So even though this is actually a fine hand, but I'm actually gonna mulligan, I think Yuriko mulligans really safely, and we can get a lot stronger. Yeah, so much better. We are lacking a ninja here, but we have Wingcrafter that's gonna give Yuriko flying. So we have that turn 1 Yuriko smash. We also have a Fierce Guardianship and a Snuff Out. We don't actually have a Swamp, so we can't cast Snuff Out, but we're gonna draw cards here. The sad part here, we don't have a second ninja, but we have Fierce Guardianship, so I feel safer here. And with Yuriko, we'll draw into stuff. So I'm actually gonna keep my second 7.
So we got a turn 1 Mizzixs, something to do with him on turn 2. Give him a counter, Spell Twine, Urza Saga. I think this is actually just straight up keepable. I got some card draw, make him bigger. I don't have anything to do with him once he comes out besides Steady Progress. But I think with, let's see, that's 2-3 card draw. Yeah, I think I can still do something with this. So it's not a snap keep, but this is not the worst hand I could have had. So yeah, I'll just keep this.
Almost good. We got a turn 2 Thrasios. Or no, this is a turn 1 Thrasios, but I don't know if that's good. This tutor counter Adnos. Yeah, we're gonna try this. Why not?
Let's look at the starting 7. This hand is so close to being awesome. Just one land and I would be actually really happy with it. But without any lands, no, I can't keep this. Go to second 7. This hand is very similar. Dockside going last is a honestly pretty great resource. Dockside going last is as good as it will get for the turn you would cast it on. We're not in a very control heavy pod. All players are blue, so there are counter spells, but they are not really control decks. They're more, I guess Jordan's only slow deck, I guess. So this could be a turn 2 Nos if you draw a land in 2 draws, and the Dockside is fed. I don't really like those odds, especially not with Mons being on Yuriko and Jordan being on TNT, and the fact that I don't have 2 lands. So while it's semi-interesting, I'm not gonna keep this. Go to 6. This hand works. This hand is a turn 2 Breach win, actually. I think my math is correct. I could be wrong, but just going turn 1 Vamp for Crypt, turn 2 Dark Writ for Wishclaw, tap Crypt for Altar of Dementia, use the black floating to cast Lionside Diamond, sack Lionside Diamond in response to Wishclaw, find Breach, cast Breach, 1 red floating, 2 sacks, recast Yeah, this is just a turn 2 breach win. If we lose, we lose. But as I said before, these aren't really controller decks. We just bottom the only card I don't have a use for here, which is Pyroblast, and we try to go for it.
Let's kick off. Let's draw a card for turn. Let's play this Seagate Restoration as a Seagate Reborn, losing 3 life for the land drop. I'm gonna cast Wingcrafter. It's a 1 blue mana 1/1 creature with Soulbound. As long as it's pair, both creatures have a flying. Perfect for Yuriko. Here, I pass the turn.
I will start with an island, then we're gonna play Lotus, we're gonna play Petal, I'm gonna tap and sack, and we're gonna play the boss. We're gonna play Mizzixs. I will pass the turn.
We will start with a Mox Diamond, discarding a Tarnished Citadel. We'll play Wooded Foothills as land for turn. We're gonna tap our Mox Diamond for green and cast a Noble Hierarch. Crack our Wooded Foothills to fetch a Tropical Island, and then pass the turn.
Go to my turn, Mount Doom, land for turn, and then I will pass my turn.
I'm gonna untap and draw a card. Sunken Ruins. Land drop. I've heard Pontus plays Adnos, so Wingcrafter. Coming at you, Pontus.
No blocks.
However, I'm gonna Ninja. Yuriko into play. Yuriko punch Pontus for 1 and Yuriko triggers. Looking at a land. Okay, well, land to hand. And actually discarding the land I drew with the Yuriko and pass the turn.
Tap, upkeep, draw. Playing an Urza Saga. And let's get this party started. I'll crack my Lotus. I will cast Steady Progress. So on cast, trigger Mizzixs. I will gain an experience counter. Then we will resolve Steady Progress, which says Proliferate. I will gain another counter. And I will draw a card. I will go to combat, and I will swing 2 at Pontus, since he runs Adnos.
No blocks, take 2.
Now I will pass the turn.
Okay, go to my turn and draw a card. Think we'll play Beseju as land for and Tropical Island to play a Thrasios. We'll attack Pontus for 1,
No blocks, take 1.
and then I'll pass the turn.
In your end step, I'll tap Mount Doom for 1, taking damage to cast a Vampiric Tutor.
I will cast a Mental Misstep.
I pass on misstep. Go to my turn. Land for turn will be a Scalding Tarn. I will fetch, finding a plateau, and I will tap 2, taking damage to cast a Wishclaw Talisman. With that in play, I will pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. Land drop. Scalding Tarn. Sacrifice it to shrink the amount of lands in my deck to increase Yuriko good hits. Finding Underground Sea, not flipping into that one anymore. I will tap 1 blue and play a Wingcrafter once more, trying to connect it to Yuriko so they both have flying. Flying Yuriko is flying all the way over at Jordan. Yuriko connects, Yuriko trigger, we're flipping into a time warp, 5 damage to everyone, finally. I'm gonna follow up by casting a Scroll Rack, and then I pass the turn.
Well, we're gonna go to main phase 1 and add a counter to my Urza Saga. Then I will put a Cascade Bluffs onto the battlefield. Then let's go to combat. Pontus for 2.
No blocks, take 2.
Then I will pass the turn.
Draw a card. I will start by tapping Noble Hierarch, Mox Diamond, and Beseju. Cast a Tymna. Attacking Keith for 2 with Thrasios. 2, I will pay life to draw a card. Perfect. We'll play this Misty Rainforest as land for turn. We'll crack it for an Underground Sea, and then we will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be a Gemstone Mine. So, even though our Vamp Tutor got countered, we now have the mana we would have had turn 2 if we got to Vamp for Mana Crypt. The difference here is that last turn there was 1 blue from Jordan, and that's only Swan Song or the free spells anyways. And the other 2 blue players were tapped out. Mons is still tapped out, but Keith has 3 mana up. So I don't feel as safe as to just go for it here. I'm also pretty close to just assembling Altar plus Bergi, but I need more sacks for that. I pretty much need like a Dockside or something, which I could, but I don't really have the mana to assemble that from here. It maybe works if Keith is on Bergi, but I'm not sure, and then he would also need to have Bergi in hand for it to work. Either way, I don't really feel safe just jamming here, so I think my main plan here is to just play Tymna instead and play a slow game. They seem to really dislike me having life total at all, even though I don't really care about NOS. Yuriko is starting to present a really lethal clock, But I'm gonna let Mons pull a lot of aggro and just chill for a bit, and then probably find a Grand Abolisher and try to assemble a win that way. So that's where we're at. Hopefully it works. And with him in play, I'll pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. Land drop is a bloodstained mire. Tap a blue, tap this and activate scroll rack. I want to put that one, this one, and this one into the deck and draw new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're putting cards back on top of our deck. And then combat. We're attacking at... Everyone feels kind of healthy, but we're smacking at Jordan and Pontus both for 1.
No blocks.
No blocks.
Yuriko trigger, and we flip into... How did that one get there? Enter the infinite. Take 12. Wow, we're actually killing people pretty decently fast here. I will cast this Memnite, 0 mana, 1/1. And then I'm just gonna pass the turn.
I'm going to make a construct during your end step. And then this will go to step 3 and disappear. Yeah, I guess Soul Ring is what I'm going to grab. I will play a mountain for turn. Pass the turn where I stand.
On your end step, I would like to cast a Vampiric Tutor. Okay, so our original plan was to pass with open mana and go for Adnos, but we just took way too much damage, so now our Adnos is probably going to be useless. So now we're just going to jam Hermit Druid this turn with the protection spells we have in hand and hope for the best, because with Scroll Rack and Enter the Infinite, we're going to get hit for 12 again, so we might just die. That's the plan moving forward. Alrighty, I will search for my mystery card on top, and then go to my turn, and then draw my mystery card. We'll play Waterlogged Grove as land for turn, Oseju, and Tropical Island to cast our Hermit Druid. We will attack Mons for 2 with 2.
You know what? I don't need this. I will block with Memnite to prevent a card draw.
Wonderful. I'll gain 2. I will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Move to combat immediately. Hit Mons for 2.
I take 2.
I'll gain 2 life, and in post-combat main phase, I would like to pay 1 to draw 1. I will lose another counter, tap for black, use the black to cast a Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual resolves. I'll use all 3 black to cast a Freighter's Grasp targeting Keith.
Be kind of fine with it. I don't think you'll get anything of value from me.
I'll take a Dockside. I'll cast the Lionside Diamond. I'll crack it for 3 white, discarding Altar of Dementia, Professional Facebreaker, and Mox Diamond. I'll use one of the white to activate Wishclaw Talisman. Wishclaw resolves, finding this card, and Wishclaw goes to Jordan. Then I will tap a red, use a white, not like that. Tap a red, lose a life, use a white, cast a Dockside. Dockside makes 4 treasures. I will tap 1, sacrifice 2 treasures, and use the white floating to cast to overload a Dam.
I'm passing on Dam. Damn.
I will pass on Dam.
I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Pass an offer. Dam is countered. I'll make 2 treasures. I'll sack 1 treasure and cast a Dargo, and then pass the turn.
In Pontus end step though, now I control a swamp. This is a swamp. So I'm gonna cast an Snuff Out, targeting Mizzixs, the Izzet player, and paying 2 life for this.
So, in response, I'm going to float 3 blue. I'm going to cast Expansion. Expansion is going to copy target instant or sorcery spell with CMC 4 or less. I may choose new targets for the copy. I'm going to copy your Snuff Out and target it at your guy giving Yuriko flying.
I'm gonna respond by casting a Fierce Guardianship on that. I have my commander, no need to pay for mana.
With my remaining 1 floating, I'm going to cast Power Sink, and I'll float 2 extra mana into it. X is going to equal 5. I will target... What am I going to target? Really like to keep my Mizzixs, but that Yuriko is a problem.
We can both keep our creatures here, right? We have an outcome where both of our creatures die, or both of our creatures live, and you get to choose.
Yeah, how greedy do I want to be with
Yes.
Power Sink? I think I have to kill the guy giving your commander flying, because if you play another land, you will end up casting that Time Warp and dealing us 24, which will kill us. So I will counter the Fierce Guardianship unless you pay 5.
No can do. So that is countered, all my lands are tapped, and in the outcome, Mizzixs and my Wingcrafter both die. Now before I draw a card, I would like to tap this for black and cast a Vampiric Tutor. I will search my library and lose 2 life. I'm finding this card and putting it on top of my library, and then I will draw the card for turn. I'm gonna crack my fetch land, finding a swamp, shock into play a watery grave. For 4 mana, I'm gonna cast Crippling Fear. Now, Crippling Fear is a kind of board wipe. I'm gonna say ninja, and everyone that's not a ninja basically gets -3/-3. You see, we need to deal with 2 things here. We need to get rid of blockers, and we specifically need to kill that Hermit Druid before Jordan gets his turn. And this will solve both problems. Now Yuriko can get through, we're removing the Tymna from Pontus, we're removing the Hermit Druid, everyone's happy.
I would like to respond with a Pact of Negation.
Yeah, I actually don't have any response to that. So yeah, that happens, it's counterspelled. Now sadly, I actually don't have any attacks, so I'm gonna keep up Yuriko as a Tymna blocker, I guess. Pass turn.
I'll play a mountain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will cast a Spell Twine. Exile target instant or sorcery from your graveyard and target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. Copy those cards. Cast the copies if able without paying their mana cost. Exile Spell Twine. I'll choose Crippling Fear and Expansion, and I'll stack it so that Crippling Fear is on the bottom of the stack and Expansion is on the top. The Expansion will copy Crippling Fear, and I will have 2 Crippling Fears. Both of them are going to name constructs, so my construct lives and everything else dies. Everything but my stuff is board wiped now, so I will go to combat. To a Pontus.
No blocks, take 2.
Alrighty, upkeep. I will pay for my Pact of Negation, losing a life from Waterlogged Grove, and then I will draw a card, and I will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. I will also just pass turn.
Untap and draw a card. I will just hard cast Yuriko actually. That's what's going on, and then pass turn.
Alright, untap. I think I just cast Mizzixs for 6. I pass the turn.
Alrighty, go to my turn. Draw a card. Play Bayou as land for turn. We'll tap it to cast a Bird's Paradise. 4 to recast Thrasios. I will pass the turn.
I will sack 3 treasures, cast Dargo. Then I'll tap 3 mana. This one has to sacrifice itself, and I lose a life. To cast a Morbid Curiosity, sacrificing Dargo. Morbid Curiosity resolves. I will draw 7 cards because Dargo is a 7 CMC creature. I will shock in a Blood Crypt, taking 2 life. And then I will pass the turn.
In your end step, I'm actually gonna activate Scroll Rack, putting 1, 2, and 3 on top of my library and drawing 1, 2, 3 cards.
I will Pyroblast Yuriko in response.
I have no response to Pyroblast, she goes to command zone. And then I will untap and draw a card. I will play this Mouth Dust Changeling and also play this 1 mana Flying Ninja as well. And then I pass the turn.
I've used most of my interaction. I've drawn Reiterate. I have Discontinuity. Underworld Breach is normally used for LED Brain Freeze combo. Probably not going to happen this game. So I think realistically I hold the Discontinuity because Mons is still probably going to do 12-ish damage to us. So I think this turn I have to hold up Discontinuity in case one of us might die or somebody tries to win the game. And then next turn I do Underworld Breach and try and proliferate. This is not a good position, but all the same, gotta do what I gotta do.
I will go to my turn and draw a card. I tap Birds of Paradise, Bayou, and Seiju to cast Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing my birds. We will get Grand Abolisher. With that, I will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be Wooded Foothills, and I will fetch. Finding a Badlands, I will tap 2 to cast a Dockside. Dockside resolves, and I make 5 treasures. And then I pass the turn.
In the end step still, I'm actually gonna cast a Mystical Tutor here. I'll find this Pact of Negation and put that on top of my library.
During your upkeep, I will cast Discontinuity. Trigger Mizzixs, I will gain 1 counter.
I'm not gonna fight, you end my turn, I don't draw a card.
Alright, untap, upkeep, draw. I will play the Spire Bluff Canal, tapped, because I control too many lands. I will pay 2, floating a colorless. I will attempt to resolve Underworld Breach.
I will activate Thrasios in response. Move to the bottom and reveal an Elodomri's Call.
Pass on Breach.
I will
I pass.
I will tap a single blue and cast Steady Progress. I will proliferate, giving myself an experience counter, and I will draw a card. I will be very sad. So my question to the table. If I can bounce the Grand Abolisher, can you guys handle whatever madness is coming next?
I can also bounce Grand Abolisher, but that's what I can do. Or I can pact something. So I can bounce or pact.
Then I think I have to hold my mana up, unfortunately, and I will pass the turn.
Alrighty, go to my turn. I'm going to activate Wishclaw Talisman, and I will give it to Mons. I will tap Bayou, Tropical, Underground Sea to cast a Tivar.
So Keith, I can Otawara the Grand Abolisher here, but I don't have anything else after this, guys. So I hope you guys...
How does Tivar... Oh, it'll let the Hermit Druid do his thing immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It comes into play with haste, basically. So if this resolves, he wins. He has to cast spells afterwards. If you have counter spells, that will do it, but like...
Okay, the piece of interaction I have is Reiterate. I can copy something one of you guys did.
I don't think that will work out. Because he's casting Dread Return. I mean, he's still gonna Millisdeck, Dread Return, and you can't Reiterate to stop Dread Return.
You can bounce the Tivar, and he can, based on what he has on the board, he cannot recast it. Which means his Hermit Druid will exist, but it doesn't have haste.
Yeah.
I think that is our best piece of interaction based on what I am seeing in my hand, what I know what's in your hand, and what we see on the board.
Alright, I agree. If you that's what we have, that's what we have. I will
I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah, so we're passing on Tivar.
I will use Tivar's second ability to mill 3 cards and then return a creature card with mana value 2 or less from my graveyard to the battlefield.
And here I will respond by cycling my Otawara Soaring City on your Planeswalker Tivar. This will remove the haste from the Hermit Druid. Not optimal, but yeah.
Tivar goes back to my hand. Hermit Druid comes back to the battlefield. Sadness on the stack. I will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Yeah, I will tap 2 to cast a Breach.
I pass. I'm hellbent.
I pass. My interaction doesn't work on this.
Breach resolves. I will sack 2 treasures to cast a Altar of Dementia, exiling a land and another land. I will sack 2 treasures, have 1 red floating, to cast a Dargo.
Okay, with Dargo on the stack, I'm going to cast Abrupt Decay, targeting Underworld Breach.
I will respond to Abrupt Decay. I will cast a Dark Ritual from my graveyard, exiling Dam, Morbid Curiosity, Praetor's Grasp. Then I'll use 1 black and cast a Vampiric Tutor from my graveyard, exiling Dark Ritual, Pyroblast, and Mox Diamond. Vamp Tutor resolves. I'll put this card on top. Then Abrupt Decay can resolve. Breach is gone. Dargo on stack. I'll use 1 black floating, cast a Calling the Weak, sacrificing Dockside. I get 4 black. I'll use my 5 black floating and the red, cast a Bola Citadel. Bola Citadel resolves. I will cast a Ruthless Technomancer from top of my library. So Technomancer has a ETB, where it will sacrifice a creature I control, another creature I control, and I will make treasures equal to the creature's power. It also has 3 mana and sacrifice X artifacts. Return target creature with power X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Technomancer resolves. I will sacrifice Dargo to make 7 treasures. I will use 4 treasures to reanimate my Dockside. Since Dockside makes 4 or more treasures, I can here present a loop where I will mill each of my opponents out by sacrificing Dockside to Altar of Dementia, milling one of my opponents, then using 4 treasures to reanimate Dockside, and just repeat that until all of my opponents are milled out. Then, once all of them are milled out, I can sacrifice 3 treasures more to cast this wheel in my hand to kill them.
Yeah, I go out on my terms. I kill myself with Wheel of Fortune, not you.
I pass and reiterate. Good game, guys.
So we were like super close at actually winning this game. They just have spot removal interaction for Yuriko every single time. If we would gotten 2 Yuriko hits, we would have won there actually.
Well, we were never really close to winning, but I got to interact with the entire table basically the whole game, and for a fringe deck like this, makes me super happy. Might start playing this deck a bit more. Maybe I'll get some wins in the future.
We tried so hard, we got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter.
It looks like my prediction about people having interaction for me on turn 3 was correct, so slow rolling was probably a great choice, even though I got blown out. But we managed to recover, so that's great.